As a small biz pro, so we roll, using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, so we grow, using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.
Yes, good afternoon. This is the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. today, today, viewers, we're gonna have an
All
amazing
righty.
show.
Don't know what that was.
Oh man.
Welcome to the show. I tell you, the internet is an interesting thing.
So, Crystal, how are things
it's been
going? How
it's
many
been
days?
going strong.
How many days we got,
Every
Crystal?
everything. Oh, okay. Let me put up our share our screen here, and I will tell you how many days we have left. And there we have it. We are at 3 days, 16 hours, and 23 minutes and 27 seconds. That's where we are right now.
All right, that's what we're talking about. We, the people, need to go out and make and vote. We need to go vote.
It,
We can't mail it
we
in
need to vote.
anymore. We don't have time to mail it in. So you need to take your ballot, fill it out, complete it, and you can either take it to the polling the county facility, drop it off, or you do your early voting, go to the polling facility and vote early. That's all we got left. That's all we got left. 3 days.
We got 3 days, and like you said, Gilbert, no one should be taking their vote in. I mean, no one should be mailing their vote. It is too late, especially if you're in other states beyond state of California. You know your state is going to be crazy, and so you need to take it in, walk it, crawl it. I don't know, take a caravan, take a bus load, just whatever you need to do. You need to go and vote. It is so imperative that you go and vote. So make sure you guys are doing that. But what more than anything, Gilbert, we want to make sure people are safe. So you want to make sure that you are doing what you need to do to make sure you're safe, make sure your family is safe. And I really believe there's going to be all kinds of craziness going on November 3rd. So get your vote in. The latest that you should be, no mailing, but you should be actually taking it over this weekend to wherever the polling place is for you. So make sure you're going to do that. Is for the safety. And oh my God, your voice right now is needed. We have to get this man out of the White House. I'm sorry, I just can't take it anymore. Every day is traumatic.
This is the abusive boyfriend that you've always wanted to get rid of. So it's time to remove your boyfriend from the house.
You gotta get rid of it. You gotta send him packing on the way. You have to know that there is someone else on the other side, and that this is not what God intended for you to be traumatized. He really didn't. He loves you with all his heart and soul, and so you need to get rid of the abusive boyfriend. You gotta get rid of him. I swear you gotta listen to all your friends, listen to your mama, your daddy, your grandpa. Everybody, this is not the man.
don't let him tell you that he's sorry anymore. Don't let him tell you he didn't mean it. Get rid of him. This is the abusive boyfriend that your family don't like and your friends don't like him.
Just tell him to go away, and that's it. Wish him a good life. Give him, as I told a boyfriend of mine years ago, I gave you your freedom. You asked me for it. I am okay with that. You go do your life. You go do you, and I'm going to do me. And so that's what I'm saying. Go do you. and get rid of him.
Oh my Lord. I,
It
I
is.
I hope they listen, man. I hope they listen. I
I
hope
hope
they
so too,
listen.
Gilbert, because gives you goosebumps to think of any the alternative. You don't even want to say the alternative. You don't even want to breathe the alternative. You
And
just want it to go away.
they want to make sure that they look at those on the ballots to look at the propositions, because they got to make sure they vote the right way on all of these propositions as well. Study it today and tomorrow, and your polling station will be open tomorrow. Make sure you go vote early. You don't want to wait until the last date, because like like Murphy's law, anything that can go wrong will go wrong on the third. So do not wait until the third to go cast your ballot. You want to cast it this weekend, tomorrow. As a matter of fact, tomorrow I'm gonna do mine. I'm gonna do mine tomorrow, so I don't have to deal with this abusive
Yeah,
girlfriend.
your abusive girlfriend. See, I did. See, I know about being in a bad relationship. I did mine 2 weeks ago on a Wednesday.
So you got it out there early. You said,
I
"Hey,
wasn't playing.
I'm making a plan to leave while you're at work."
I got rid of mine early, man. So that's what everyone should do. This election, and it's kind of funny in our lifetime. So we were all excited about it, like for voting for Obama in 20 and two was that 2008.
2008, yeah.
Yeah, and it was a happy time, and but I don't know in my lifetime have I felt it so imperative to our life. I think
Yeah,
this is the first time in my life that I felt that voting was imperative to our
yeah.
livelihood,
Hmm.
to life. I mean, because COVID is rabid right now, and I know you have some stats that you want to share.
Yeah.
230,000 people have lost their lives,
Hmm.
and it didn't have to be that way. If
Yeah.
some policies and some responsibility, and we had someone that was capable to be at the helm.
Hmm.
I've worked in companies where the CEO was just
Right.
horrible, and the
Right.
company suffered because of that being such a horrible that leader. And so we as a country, which is far more devastating than a company. I
Hmm.
mean, granted, you might lose your job if they stop earning revenues, but you could go find another job. But
Right.
the whole entire country
Hmm. Yeah.
is is at is at peril
It
with
is
this
at
man
Tara.
at peril. We're this is serious. So everyone go out there and vote with your life. Those of you that have already gone out and vote, congratulations for taking a stand and using your voice to make a difference. I think that's so important.
I think when folks go out to vote this weekend, they need to think about this number. 1%. 1%. 1% may not seem like a large number, Crystal, but it depends on 1% of what. So
Right,
1% of 326 million. 326 million. Just think about that.
right,
That's the number of people who have died from COVID so far. 1% of our population. 1%. Just a little under 1%. Just a little under 1%. So think about that. And that only happened within 8, 9 months. So think
right.
about it. If we have another year and a half of this, how many more people you think are going to die? And this thing is multiplying fast.
According to him, he is okay with that. He
Yeah,
talks about the herd mentality,
yeah,
and he's good with that. He thinks it's okay that we lose some people. It's kind of like the casualties of war comment, right?
yeah.
But it's not okay that even one person is dead. It's
Well,
not okay to
well,
leave.
to him, it is okay because then he'll get to sell the Trump vaccine. That's what he's trying to do, to sell the Trump vaccine to people. So that's why he's saying it's okay.
But
It's
they have to they have to get the vaccine, so it's not anywhere near ready, first
no,
of all. And secondly, they have to, what are they going to do, come in as strong armors in our houses to make us take the vaccine?
that's
Or
it.
we're going to be so terrified that we're going to be lining up. But right at the present moment, the vaccine is not ready. So millions, we could literally lose 1 million people between now and when they're actually
When the
thinking the
vaccine is
vaccine
released.
be
Yeah,
ready. So
yeah.
that concept. So obviously he didn't go through a math class.
No, no,
And I'm gonna back it up even further, that he didn't do arithmetic,
no,
because
no,
and
no,
he truly did not take a biology class
no.
or a sociology class.
Or
So,
religious studies.
oh yeah, there's no religious studies. I think that probably God ran,
Yeah,
and so he is just, he. We need him gone. That's all I can say,
yeah.
is we need him gone.
Gotta fire him. We gotta fire him, Crystal.
We gotta fire him. And you know, it's funny, Gilbert. If we were operating in uh, a company,
Yeah.
he would have been gone already.
You'd have been fired by the board, you'd be fired a
He would
long
have been
time.
gone within 6 months of employment. Look at, take a sports team. Look at a basketball team. Look at how, if they lose
The
a
first,
season.
if they lose the first 5 or 6 games in the season, they're firing that coach. Okay, they're firing that first 5 or 6 games. They're gone.
Right. Right. So why the heck would the president get to stay when he has made mistake after mistake? And this one is huge. So, if a company was, somebody was killed on property, or someone fell ill, or someone, there was a major accident, and the company, the CEO knew that the equipment was faulty, and it was proven on the spot, that would be the end of it. He'd be gone
Yeah, yeah,
and be blackballed. He probably would
yeah.
never even get another job, not in
Never,
the state that
never,
he's in
never
anymore.
work, never work in the industry again.
Exactly. So you guys, we got to get rid of this. This is a bad leader. He hasn't a clue how to lead. If I had a dog, I'm sure he would be better at leading than this man right here. Um, that's all I can say. So
So
there you have it.
with that being said, many of the businesses out there right now, since the business zone is a program that we cater to small businesses, so we help you to become business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. So our job, Crystal's job, and I, is to help you guys, help to coach you, provide you advice, and also to let you understand what tips and strategies you need to use in order to get your business going. Now, with this COVID, we understand COVID forces a lot of businesses to close. 440,000 minority businesses closed between April and July of this year, and between July and now, another 150,000. So that is awful. And we don't have the resources to help us. So many of you small businesses will need to learn how to pivot. You got to learn how to pivot in this time of COVID. So, Crystal and I today, we want to share some information with you, some advice, and how you can start thinking about pivoting your business. Now, an example of pivoting, and the definition of pivot means to move your position from one place to another, or strategically transform yourself from one point of view or one point to another. That's pivot, and that position that you're moving in should give you an advantage. So, with you being out there and seeing what this economy is like, seeing what the society is at the marketplace, that I think one of the things you guys, small businesses, should do is start looking at what is it you do, how do you do it very well, who are your customers, who are your clients, the type of business or service you provide, is it an essential business? Is it an essential business? Because if you're pivoting, you got to pivot towards an essential business or service or product.
And Gilbert, this week I participated in the Power Networking Conference, which is George Frazier's conference that he does every year. But this year it was virtual, and so one of the things that we talked about was uh, uh, the theme was breathing through COVID. And so the whole entire conference was actually about exactly what we're talking about, learning how to pivot, learning how to go into a different direction. And actually at the very end, I just listened to a powerful message from Dr. Freddie Haynes. He's a minister out of Texas. And he was saying that as Black people, we have gone through so much worse in our lifetime, and that we have managed to overcome and override any of the drastic disasters that we've encountered since 1619. And so that's what we're talking today, that we as a people are magnificent people for overcoming strife, for creating something out of nothing, for being the most creative people probably on the planet. And so we have a lot of potential. And so that's what we're talking about today, is inside of you is a potential, and that we have to get past our fears, and we have to be able to, and I'm going to share this, inside of you is our untapped potential. We can do such amazing things just by going within and identifying things that or new talents or skills, or just unleashing our innate ability to create something out of nothing. And so that's kind of what we're going to talk about today, is how do we create something out of nothing and move forward. Are you still there, Gilbert?
Okay, I'm back.
Okay. Hello, Gilbert. So I was inspired by, and I am always inspired when I actually attend the Power Network conference. I was so happy that, hey, Jashandra, I was so happy that George still had his Power Network, because it inspires me to be so much better, and to just strive to be the most incredible person that there is. And I think it's very important that we share what we, what the knowledge that we're learning. And here was something someone said to us today. It was actually John Hope Bryan. He said, we are at a point in life where we are in one big classroom, and that classroom is called Zoom. There is everything on the planet that you can learn right now. That's right there at your fingertips.
That is
right there in your home. And all you have to do is just tap in and sign up. And majority of everything is free, and type and just become this new person. Become this pivoting magic person.
And that's exactly what it is. And you said something earlier, Crystal, which is true. We are a resilient group, very resilient. And not only are we resilient as minorities, but we're also resilient as small businesses, because we don't really get resources. We're not at the top of the list of the banks to give us money. We're not at the top of the list of contract providers to give us contracts. We're not at the top of the list of prime to give us opportunities. You see what I mean? Customers don't come seeking us out. So we got to go out there and do all of these things. And that's what helps us to be so resilient and flexible. So we're able to pivot.
Well, one of the things I always find interesting, so many of our businesses come out of the fact that we couldn't get jobs, right?
Right.
So, or people wouldn't give us an opportunity, or people put some kind of crazy barrier in front of us, and we couldn't get over it. And some of our most um, imaginative businesses came out of that, and they're still existing today.
Yeah, they will exist because we are forced to learn how to do things 5 times better than the competition. 5 times, at least 5 times better. So
Right.
they put these big hurdles in front of us. They put a big wall in front of us while they put a little barrier in front of the barrier is a step in front of
Yeah.
the competition. So the competition has a step to step up on. We've got like a 15-foot wall that we got to climb in order
Right.
to get to the resources we need. And we do it. We've been doing it over years and years and years. And that forces us to become better because
Hmm.
you got to develop climbing skills. You got to develop jumping skills. So once you climb that wall, now you got to jump. And then,
you
then you got to,
almost become you almost become like a cartoon character. You can be fluid. You
exactly.
gotta learn to swim up underneath barriers. You become the invisible man where you come around the barrier.
Exactly, exactly. So that's what makes us so special as small businesses, man. And that's why we can do things. We can do it in a quick time frame. You know, we can if we're given a change order or a change of scope, we can respond to that in minutes. You see what I mean?
Oh
While the
yeah, I mean it's absolutely amazing how well. You know what I always marvel. So something happens, like George Floyd was murdered, right, or
yeah
lynched actually, and I'm always marveling, or the Lakers win the championship.
yeah
I always, or the Dodgers won like this
yeah
week. Congratulations to all of them. And the next day there were T-shirts already on the street.
the T-shirt was there hours after they won. It was there. So that's what I'm telling you, man. We are so resilient, flexible, and so adaptable, man. It's unbelievable. So that's what we need to take as small businesses and and carry on our journey so that we can get to the next level. But there are support sources like Recycling Black Dollars and Buchanan and Associates that can really help these small businesses, give them wings, so
Yes,
they can
yes.
fly over those
Right.
walls and fly over those hurdles.
Right, so that they'll have the tools. And I always say that, you got to, as an entrepreneur, which is, what we definitely are, you have to have so many tools in your tool belt that you can pull them out when you need them, right?
Yes,
It's like, oh, wait, I got to screw this. I got my tool belt over here, or I got to be able to reach here, or I got to turn, I got to change my business on a dime. How do I do that? And so we go back and go into your little tool belt, pull
yeah,
out your tool and say, this is how I'm. And that tool belt also consists of people that you know that can help you move the needle,
exactly,
referrals, and people that have resources that you don't have, or skill sets that you don't have, that can help you. And that's very important. So if anyone's out there listening to us, for those that's listening, what are some of the things that you've done in the last
eight
recently,
months, last
eight
eight
months?
months.
Yeah, and that's 8 months to pivot your business. And are you ready for 2021? And it's no given that COVID is going to be over. So we can't just sit and wait, and continue to. Most people will have run out of unemployment money. Who knows if they're going to come up with any more stimulus? Right now, it's being held hostage. The stimulus money for individuals is being held hostage. If you don't vote for the man in the White House, you're not going to get a stimulus. So right at this present moment, the only thing that we can rely on is our own potential, our own ability to move the needle and to do what we need to do in order to survive and thrive. And I think more beyond surviving is looking at how we're going to thrive. So if anybody's out there, please reach out and let us know. You can comment on Facebook or YouTube, and we will respond to you. So we want to hear from you.
And one of the things that I also want small businesses to think about is over the years that you've existed on this earth, you've either worked somewhere for somebody and you've developed a lot of skills while you're working for those somebodies that you worked for. And
Mm-hmm.
over the years that you've developed your business, you have develop skills and talents. And those are some of the skills we now need you to reach back in your tool belt and grab onto, because there's hard skills and there's soft skills out there. You got transitional skills, right? So in there somewhere there are some skills that you can reach. They say once you know how to ride a bicycle, you can ride it anytime. It's the same thing with your skills. Once you have those skill sets, all you got to do is employ them again. So if you are running a business, let's say you're running a restaurant business, right? Restaurant businesses are getting a lot of flack right now. A lot of them are closing. So you now got to pivot. You
Mm-hmm.
got to pivot from that restaurant business to something else. But how do you know what that something else is? Well, you got to look at whether or not this is an essential business or essential service or essential product, something that people need now under COVID. So what are
Right.
those things? I mean, Crystal and I, we provide essential services because what we're providing to small businesses right now is the things that they need to either prepare themselves to get a loan, a grant, or help themselves, figuring out their financials, you know, build their back office so that they're self-sufficient. So those are the services we provide. But what is it that you guys provide? So send us a message, give us a call, right? I mean, send us a message on the show, and let's have a discussion.
And it's actually kind of, right now, Gilbert, we always talk about how important it is to solve a problem. Well, gosh, I mean, right now, there are so many problems out there that you don't even have to think hard. All
Yeah,
you got to do is come up with a solution
yeah,
in order to make a change and help people out. But there's all kinds of problems out there that just makes it so easy for you to do that right now.
right,
And that's kind of what we're going to talk about today is tapping our untapped potential, right? So
right.
um and the definition, and I was doing a little research, and the definition is that we are capable of so much more than we usually dare to even imagine,
Oh
right?
yeah, oh
I
yeah,
mean, when you're a kid and someone asked you what did you want to be when you grew up, I mean, you came up with astronaut and
yeah,
fireman, and
yeah,
you want to go to the moon, you want
yeah,
to go to Mars.
yeah.
um, as a child said to me, she says, one little kid said, I'm going to be an architect, I'm going to be a pastor, I'm going to be a construction man, and I'm going to solve world peace. Okay, because that's how children think
Oh
about
yeah,
things,
oh
right?
yeah.
The
And
sky is the
that is
limit.
that is definitely possible too. That is definitely possible. You know, so it's amazing how kids have those mind extensions. That they think outside of the realm of possibility, but you never know. It could
Right.
happen.
It can happen. I mean, no, who's to say that it can't happen? Only we can say that.
Yeah,
Only our limiting our opportunities can say that it can't happen, right?
yeah,
But
yeah.
other than that, then no, it can happen because we wanted that. And that's really what it is about kids, right? Kids say, oh, it's gonna happen because I want it to happen,
Yeah.
right? That's how kids think. As adults, we think differently.
So many of the small businesses out there listening to this program, you're watching the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert, and this is a program where we help small businesses to come together with contract providers in order to provide you guys opportunities. And in order to do that, we help you to become business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. So when contract providers reaches out to you, then they know that you guys are actually ready because you got the blessing from Crystal and Gilbert, and you know that we're not going to release you out there unless you're really prepared. So
Right.
that's what we're doing for you. So, in order to pivot, you want to start looking in the marketplace and see what type of trends are out there. What is it people are looking at? What are they purchasing? What do they want to have right now? And as we know, people are having food delivered to them right now. And when the
Mm-hmm.
food is delivered, you can't touch the food, so you got to make sure that the food is in a container or a situation where it's not touchable by anyone. So people in the construction trade or the engineering trade, one of the pivot in ideas that you can use is build a little portable facility that people can put food in when they deliver it to your place. They can put the food in, they don't touch it, and it's you can lock it. Now I'm giving you guys some ideas. So just make sure you send me my 5% once you once you publish this idea, okay? So
Exactly.
so you can build a little container that people can, when they deliver your food through what do they call it, Uber Eats or whatever, whichever
Right.
one of those food delivery systems. They put the food in the container. It's closed. It's locked immediately, so no one coming behind the delivery person can access it. That would be great if you can develop something like that and make it available to people at their homes. That would be a pivoting idea. So that's just an idea I want to throw out there.
And I think that exactly what you're saying, people should look beyond their horizons, right? I mean, like you said, there are opportunities that are sitting right in front of you. And COVID has really presented a lot of them for us. So, really, just looking around, like I tell the kids when I'm teaching kids how to be entrepreneurs, I tell them to turn and look in their community and look at what is missing from their
Yeah,
community. And I
yeah,
usually compare it with where they go to school because a lot of
yeah,
times they're not in school
yeah,
in their community. They've been bussed out. So
yeah.
look around in the community that you go to school and then come back and compare that to your community that you live in and
Hmm.
what is missing and what could you as an entrepreneur create as a solution to whatever's missing that's not there
Yeah,
that is necessary in your community. So
yeah,
when we look at COVID today, I mean, so many people pivoted to any kind of PPE equipment. I can't tell you how many masks that everybody under the sun has created a mask
and
from
sanitizers.
and sanitizers. They're hand making sanitizers. But here's something: if people haven't really looked at it, so if we're opening the horizon and looking for the future, one of the things right now that's being they're talking about is that there's going to be a food shortage.
Yeah,
So like in my family, we've actually started creating, we have a garden, and so now we're gardening and creating our to make sure that our food supply is not going to be compromised. So everything that we're growing now is going to be for the family, the number of people in our family, and that we can feed ourselves, but not just feed ourselves. We can preserve the food, we can freeze it, we can dry it, and we can have it available for us. And so, if you are thinking on the horizon, what is going to be some of the things that may be scarce? We kind of went through some of that at the beginning of the year. So, what are some of the things that you can think of that you could start selling in order to meet that need of what could be a lack? And then being able to sell them online, because at the present moment, that is the way that we're all communicating. So,
right, right. And that's a good point, Crystal. Just looking around, seeing what's missing, and coming up with a solution is a great, great way of doing it because there's so many things missing right now. So many things that some of us can go in and do some creation to. Another thing I'd like to throw out there is, many people in our community right now, they're probably going to be evicted from their property where they live right now
mm, mm,
because they can't afford a rent, and
mm-hmm,
they don't have a job because the governor tell us we got to stay home. So
mm-hmm,
one of the things that someone out there who is in professional services can do is try to come up with a system where they do some research to see what type of relief is out there for individuals who are about to be evicted from their homes.
mm-hmm.
That would be, to me, would be a pivoting solution. If you run a business and you're in professional services, that would be something that you could think of to help out. And, that would be well appreciated by a lot of us, you know. if we can't afford to pay our bills, what do we do? So if you
Right.
could provide some type of training or learning in those areas, those are things that could really help.
I think so, and I think that we should look back. And so, some of the suggestions is in order to help us with our pivot is being able to one, look for our horizons, and two, learn from our mistakes. So when we were not prepared at the beginning of COVID in March, and we just kind of sat there and waited, right?
Yeah,
Terrified because we weren't sure and we were unsure, but now we actually have a little bit of a roadmap, right?
yeah,
So being able to see what it was that was available to you or was not available to you, but now you have enough time to galvanize yourself and be able to create and fill that void. So
right.
looking back at your mistakes and analyzing, one, we nobody was prepared and ready for um, a shutdown, but we do have enough time right now that we could be doing some different businesses and creating revenue. And then some of that revenue is going toward just in case. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not to say just in case if I have to do this, what can I do in order to continue to make sure that revenue is coming into my home,
yes.
right?
And
So,
and when in planning that, you want to assume the worst. Assume that COVID is going to continue for another 2 years. So by you thinking that way, then you can build real life and true solutions to help people out there in the community.
right, as well as yourself and your family, because that's
Yeah,
very, very important. So,
yeah,
so that's what we want. Just start thinking, and I know everybody has been out there because I've seen a lot of you. You've come to the business zone. You've come to the community briefing program that I have. So you're seeking information. So now you want to activate those information. But here's something, Gilbert, that I know is pretty notorious in our community is that sometimes we have these outmoded beliefs
yeah.
systems, right?
Uh-huh.
That we may have encountered something 20 years ago and
Yeah.
we're still carrying that belief with
Yeah.
us,
Yeah.
and that prevents us from being able to move forward. I
Right.
mean, how many of our clients do you encounter that with,
A
right?
lot. A lot. A lot.
A lot, right? So right now, I know I've been coaching a program for the Urban League, and I've had so many people when I ask what is their situation on social media, are they active on social media? And some of them are like, I really hate social media. Well, right now, what is the primary way that we're communicating?
Yeah. And that's a good point you brought up, Crystal, because the person who is scarred from social media, chances are they were scarred because they had a personal account and whatever, however they were conveying their information, it was done on a personal level. But if you're a business person and you have a business account on social media, there's no way the same type of thing that happened to you in the past on a personal level is going to happen throughout a business structure. So
And businesses are always, even I mean, we all have had our encounters with Facebook, but it's always evolving. So
yeah,
they've evolved, right?
yes,
They are
yeah,
now, in fact, they are actually encouraging you to use it for business. I think right now there's something that's going on Facebook where they've created a business suite where your business is also tied in. Your Facebook page is now being connected to your Instagram page.
right, right,
And so when you post on Facebook, you're now have the ability for that same post to be posted on Instagram. So you can make sure you're garnishing all of the resources on both pages. So it's growing. Everything grows. Nothing stays the same except for us.
right,
Sometimes
right.
us.
And also, I want to share with many folks who post on Facebook. You got to separate the personal from the business. Okay, so if you're personal, you can go on there. You can say anything, do whatever, right? But if you're a business, then you want to operate like a business where you operate with responsibility and integrity. Don't get on there and start talking about politics if you're a business person, because you don't know if some of your customers are going to be on one side or the other side of an issue. So just stay away from that stuff. Don't go on there and start calling out people, start saying bad things about other people and cussing them out, because there might be potential customers looking at that post and go, So if they're saying this about that person, chances are they'll say the same thing about me. So you'll probably lose some potential customer that way too. So be careful. And again, sometimes when bad things happen to us, a lot of times we have a lot to do with it. Our attitude and our behavior has a lot to do with some of the things that happen to us. So, we're just putting this out there as tips and pointers. You guys don't even have to listen to us, but I'm just saying, from a business perspective, these are some of the ways in which folks need to conduct themselves if you want things to work for you in a positive way.
Exactly. And so, I manage several Facebook pages, probably about 5 or 6 of them. In my personal page, I only allow people on my personal page that, because I'm an activist, so I'm very vocal about what I feel is going on, and my organization functions within the community, and it's important that I have a voice
Information that
and
you share
information.
information.
So that's on my personal page, and
Yeah,
a lot of times people will want, I would like to be a friend of your personal page. Not if you can't handle the hard truth, you can't be
right,
on that page, but you can go to any of my business pages
right.
and be there. And better yet, go on over to my LinkedIn, because I that is my thank you, Patricia. Patricia says that we always are there to share relevant information. Thank you,
Thank,
Michelle.
thank you, Patricia.
And Michelle says we are sharing great information. So so that's how mines are geared, because I do feel that certain, and you can set up a page specifically for you to voice your opinion the way you need to voice it to the people that you need to voice it to.
Yes,
But yeah, but Gilbert, that's across the board, right?
yes.
Your business and your personal should never commingle on any level.
Never, never,
On any level,
never,
from
any level.
financial to business to
Up to
marketing.
operational, no,
Yeah,
no.
they should be separate. And a lot of people use their Instagram. You should have a business Instagram and you should have a personal Instagram, because you're a lot more freer on your Instagram, especially young people, than you are on, say social media. There's a lot more freedom on Instagram than there is on Facebook. So make sure they are two separate entities, and do whatever you want on your personal, but on your business, make sure and keep your personal locked down if there's things you don't want the other world to know about. That's vitally important.
If you're a business owner and on your Instagram or your Facebook page you're out there twerking, then you better be a professional twerker and be making your money from that.
Or just keep it locked down. You can make it private and nobody can get to it. When you go to that Instagram, it says this is a private Instagram.
Exactly,
And only
exactly.
those that's been invited are allowed to have accessibility to it. So lock it down if you don't want anybody to know about your private life.
So I want to throw this out there, Crystal, in the spirit of pivoting for small businesses. I want to throw this out there. So one of the things that small businesses can do in order to see how, before they determine how they want to pivot, then you can start looking at increase in spending on certain essential items or discretionary items. So one way of doing that is looking at certain reports. You can go to Google and look at items that's been most popular by consumers and see who is see what type of spending is occurring and is there an increase between last year and this year. That will give you an idea on items that are being spent on, and you can pivot to some of those items or some of those types of customers, and then you can target those businesses. So that's another way that you can look at it. And if you can modify your product line and add something else to it, always, Crystal always talk about multiple streams of revenue. You want to do the same thing. So by diversifying your product lines or your service line in your service offering, that will also help you to generate. The last point I want to add is to make sure that you guys you want to set up your revenue, your payment method, so that you can be paid online. You want to be paid online. You could do it through PayPal, or you could do it through any one of those electronic online systems. But you want to make sure you get paid. Why is that? So you can get paid now. When you provide a service or a product, you want to be paid now. You don't want to wait 30 days. You don't want to wait 45 days, because you don't know those people that are purchasing your product or services. You don't know if they're going to be around beyond 30 days. Okay.
Well,
So,
in today's world, and you're so true, so correct. But the other thing is, Gilbert, we all have certain talents and skills that we really probably could make money at, right?
oh yeah, oh yeah,
But we only look at ourselves one dimensional, and so
yeah.
we really need to start looking at ourselves in with our talents and that
Multi-dimensional. Yeah,
multi-dimensional. So we may be excellent at what we do, far as we teach. Well, look at us, right? I'm a trainer and an educator. I went and got skills in order to make sure that I was doing it and making sure that I had the credentials to back it up.
yeah,
I'm a speaker, so I can generate revenue that way. I have bookkeeping experiences, and I've been doing that for the last 30 years. I can teach you how to use software, computer skills. I can teach you how to run a business. So there's several ways, but I'm still pursuing other opportunities. I'm pursuing I'm going to write a book eventually
yeah,
when I find the time. I'm right now working on my online courses, so that
yeah,
will alleviate more time. So now I can spend time on writing some books, which will also generate. So I'm moving out of my comfort zone. And the
yeah.
one thing that we should have learned in with COVID is you cannot be stagnant.
It can't be too comfortable.
You cannot be too comfortable. We have to be able to step out there and try new things and new activities. And I know coaching individuals on how to pivot their business. And I'll say, well, what are your skills?
Yeah,
What are your passions? What are
yeah,
your hobbies? Can
yeah,
these be incorporated into what you currently do right now?
yeah,
And is there a need for them right now? And
yeah.
can you start generating revenue with them right now?
And one of the things that I do when I teach my capability statement development classes, Crystal,
Mm-hmm.
in order to help participants learn how to develop their core competencies, because many small businesses, they don't know how to identify their core competence. They know what it is, but they don't know how to
Mm-hmm.
identify it.
Mm-hmm.
You make a list of at least 5 or 6 things that you're good at. What is it you're good at? And those things that you're good at, can you make money at that? Because the things you're good at, chances are those skills or talents are going to help you to solve some pain in the marketplace,
Mm-hmm.
or in your community. So if
Mm-hmm.
if you can identify those things that you're good at, then you can start associating those things you're good at with some pain that you can solve, and then those pain points that you're solving will be the items that's going to help you to generate new money, generate the
Mm-hmm.
different revenue streams. So think about that. I mean, a typical example, Crystal. I remember back in the 90s, I was very, very good at career development. I used to
Mm-hmm.
help. I used to run multiple different career centers.
Okay.
When yeah, when companies lay off their employees, they would send them to our facility, and we would retrain those participants. We call them dislocated workers, because
Right.
they can no longer find a job, or the skills that they had before, they have to pivot. They have to redevelop different talents to go out in the marketplace so they can fit in.
Mm-hmm.
because those skills were no longer marketable. So we helped so many businesses in New York and in Mississippi. We helped so many businesses find jobs. And one of the things that we did, we helped them with resume writing. We helped them
Mm.
with interviewing techniques, how to write a cover letter, and how to pitch yourself in the marketplace. And now, when people when the economy is down, a lot of people are unemployed. So now you
Right.
got a lot of people to compete against. So you got to come up with unique ways to make employers become attracted to you and want to
Right.
call you in for an interview. And then
Exactly.
when you get that interview, you got to go in there and kill it. So,
Yeah.
so one of the things that we would do to help these businesses is help them to identify their skills, strengths, and their accomplishments. So that's the skill that I have that I haven't used in a long time. And recently, I was asked by the Urban League and Lawa, the airport,
Uh-huh.
to train some youths. They were about
Right.
17, 18, 19 years old, and it's the same thing we did. We helped them, and they were able to find jobs. So the point I'm trying to make is there are skills that we have that we probably haven't used in a long time, but we can brush them off and we can use them again.
And that's a good point, Gilbert, because wherever we learned that, whatever jobs that we worked when we were working for someone else, when we left, and I love to say this, when we left, the only thing that we had to turn in was the card key to the garage, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And the key to the front door.
yeah,
Anything that you learned on those premises, you get to take with you.
yeah.
So that was a skill that you learned. Just because you work on you have your own business doesn't mean you lost the skill. You didn't turn the
Right,
skill back in, so
right.
you can still do that. So it's dust. You can dust off and move it on and look and see what the current trends are and be able
Hmm.
to help. But the core fundamentals are the exact same, and
Yeah.
I find I do that as well. My very first my first when I decided to become in my own
Entrepreneur.
entrepreneur, I have my own business at the time, and this will date me, but that's fine. At the time, everyone could use a computer, but you were using a computer at work, right?
Right, right,
So remember back then when you learned a computer, it was their program. They didn't really, you're not like you're efficient now, proficient now, where
right.
you can do anything you want on a computer, right?
Yeah.
You came in, you signed on, and you went directly to whatever project or whatever program that your company or you worked on. That's as far
Uh-huh.
as you got, right?
Uh-huh.
So you didn't know anything else but computers. Well, all of a sudden, computers were now a home entity that people were
Yeah.
getting for Christmas. And
Yeah.
so, but when they got home, they didn't know all they knew how to do was to turn the baby on,
Yeah.
and they didn't know anything else about how to
Yeah. Yeah.
utilize it. So because that's who I am, and this is the next one, is I learn something new every single day,
Yeah.
right? So I would go and say, well, I want to learn more. So I was friends with the individuals in the IT department, and I would
Yeah.
have them, when they came to show me around my computer, well, why did you do that? And how did you do this? And where did you do this? And how do you open this? I was learning
Yeah.
from them, and they were teaching me, and then I would go and take a course or something. And now when I left, I had that as a tool, right?
There
I
you
could
go.
show you how to maneuver and navigate your computer. So
Yeah.
you guys are always teasing me because you're like, Krista, how do you come up with this stuff, right? Where do you find these programs? Well, because I am learning something new every day, because I never know when I need to incorporate it in my tool bag of
that
tricks.
that's because you're the tech ninja.
And
You
I'm not even a coder. I'm just a curious individual.
and that's really what's going to keep us alive, man. That's what's going to keep let us survive, because we got to be flexible. We got to be able to take things and make it happen. And a typical example is, if we look back on the crocodile or the alligator or even the turtle, right? those
Hmm.
things those things have been on earth millions of years, and
Right.
they still around. And the reason they're still around is because they were adaptable. They were able to adapt to all of their situations. So
Right.
we got to do the same thing too. And if everyone took an inventory of their skills Okay, what am I good at? Like women are amazing because they can take care of so many different things. Okay, they take care of the yard, take care of the home, take care of the kids. They run the business, or they may not run a business, but they've got the budget for the family. So now they're doing budgets. You see what I'm saying? They're doing budgeting. They're figuring out, okay, well, this amount is going to go to that. This is going to go to that. So the budgeting aspect comes into play right there. Organization, they get to organize things, they get to supervise things. So there's so many skills that women have that they can really reach in and bring about.
Remember that commercial long time ago that it was what was it? The woman, I don't know, remember, it was a cigarette commercial, but it was said she could run her office, she could do this, she could cook bacon, she
Yeah,
she was the transportation for she was the Uber driver for the
yeah,
kids, she
yeah,
was the team rah rah, the fan, the biggest
yeah.
fan that the kids had. She
Oh
made
yeah,
sure her husband went out the door with all his clothes on and his
yeah.
shoes, the right color sock and shoe on. So she, yeah, from the top, she really managed. She could manage a household of 25.
Yeah.
So she got skills to manage,
Oh
right?
yeah. Oh yeah.
So and she could really get them to do whatever she wanted to. So she was
Yeah.
an excellent leader.
Yeah. Definitely.
And
Definitely.
she was a money manager. She was a
Yeah.
financial guru.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
She is
So
so.
that's a typical example of what we're saying, that some of those skills that you've developed, and you can develop some of these in the home, at work, at certain projects you're working on. You develop all those skills. So those are things that we want folks to start honing on and try to get them to help them along.
And then let's take the woman for example. So let's say she's doing all of that. She's the house. She's everything, right? She
Yeah.
wears so many hats. She multitasks like you cannot believe.
Yeah.
And I always find it funny when you in corporate America, those that are in corporate America, they're always saying multitasking is not beneficial. That something's gonna get lost. Obviously, they have not spoken to the woman that's running her household.
uh,
Um, but then down there in the core of her, there was a talent that has been untapped because it's been immersed by all the other needs in
yeah.
everybody else in the family, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you find out, like, wow, you have a beautiful voice, or you are an incredible
Designer.
salesperson
Yes.
or designer. And then
Yeah.
she goes, I am, aren't I? And then she starts her business and she becomes this multimillionaire
Yeah.
based upon the fact that she finally recognizes her own untapped potential, and she's not just the person that takes care of the household and takes care of the husband and the children. She herself has a talent. And so women out there that are listening to us, you guys have untapped talent that you no one has given you permission to tap into. So today I am giving you permission to tap into your untapped potential and use it to take care of yourself during this time, and know that we have to be the best that we can be. That's why God gave us talent. That's why there are athletes that are just exceptional. That's why there are speakers that are exceptional, because we have untapped talents and potential, and we should all use them.
Definitely. I totally agree. I mean, most people, they say lack of resources make people become inventors. And that
Yes.
is so true, because we know that most of us, we don't have health care. We don't have money to pay for health care. So what do we do when a family member is sick? We try to gin up some home remedies, right? You may, get some herbs or whatever and make some tea, or and
Well, I
and
bet your grandmother was like an amazing herbalist, because
oh,
she was. You
oh
guys
yeah.
was in Jamaica, right? So.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We just go out in the garden. We pick either some mint, or they have this plant they call sarsaparilla.
Oh,
Sa-
sarsaparilla. Mm-hmm.
Sarsaparilla, yeah.
Uh-huh.
That was just amazing. People would make tea with those things, and then you drink it, and next thing you know, people feel better. They
Oh,
didn't have to spend a cent at the doctor. So those are things, that we're talking about, that, when you're in a situation of depression, a depressive situation, you come up with creative ideas, man.
Yeah, you do. So any of you out there, go out to your garden, and that's what we're getting ready to do. We've been, my sister and I have been growing, and primary because she's waiting for Armageddon and the end of the apocalypse, not Armageddon. She's waiting for the apocalypse, and so that was why we started gardening. She just knew that we were going to run out of food, and
Yeah,
we needed to have our own. So that and the fact that the foods that we're eating
yeah,
is genetically modified. So we wanted
right.
to make sure that our food is healthy
Yeah,
because right now, and this is on a serious note, guys, the one thing that how you can counteract getting coronavirus is to make sure that your body is operating at its optimum. And in
yeah,
order to make sure your body's at its optimum, you need to be eating healthy
yeah,
foods that are giving you healthy nutrition.
yeah,
And one of the things I saw just the other day, Gilbert, was that Americans lack vitamin D. Now,
yeah.
in California, we get sun generally 364 days a year. There is no reason that you should be lacking vitamin D.
Vitamin D, exactly.
Leave the house, get a garden, go for a walk, which is good for you. Get you some vitamin D because right now that's the most important. Vitamin D and zinc is to
Yeah,
prevent you from getting and make
COVID. Yeah,
COVID and making sure your body's strong.
yeah,
So that's pretty much what the show was about today is
yeah.
we have this untapped potential to take care of ourselves. We don't need them on the news media to tell us how to take care of ourselves.
Right,
We don't need anyone to rescue us. We
right.
need to tap into our own potential and do what our ancestors did when
Yeah,
they came out of slavery. Because I
yeah,
have to go back there.
yeah,
When they left slavery, they
yeah,
had tattered shoes, tattered
yeah,
clothes.
yeah.
They still had a mindset of being a slave, but they
Right.
came out and did some miraculous
They
things.
became entrepreneurs, and
Yeah,
that's where some of the first millionaires were born, right there,
right there.
right after slavery.
Yeah, so there is no reason. So let's look at this time. I heard this morning John Hope Bryan said this is he said that we've been through three reconstructions,
Yeah,
and he feels this is a reconstruction. So consider this a redo moment, a
yeah,
reset moment,
yeah,
and let's go out there and do what our ancestors did, and let's change our community, let's change our society for us, and
yeah.
let's create wealth and legacy for our children and using your talents and your skills and being able to pivot and use the things that you're passionate about, let them start making money and do something every day to increase your knowledge and create the potential that we know that you have within you.
And make sure you do a skills inventory. Make a list of 4 or 5 or even 6 things that you can do very well. They may not be things you're making money on right now, but just list them anyway because some of those you can use to start generating money. So make a list of all the talents and skills you have. I mean, you guys have a lot of talents and skills. I guarantee you. If I put you to the test, I can come up with at least 3 or 4. I guarantee each and every one of you out there. So let's do that because you've worked somewhere, and wherever you've worked, most of us have worked at least 5 jobs in our lives, in our lifetime. And
Mm-hmm.
in those 5 jobs, you've learned something from each different job. Like, for example, when I first came here to the US, right? When first came here, I was a paper boy. I was a paper boy at 27. At 27, I was the oldest paper boy I knew.
But you were also a Jamaican, so I know you must have
Yeah.
had like 15 other
Oh
jobs.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I did the paper in the morning, and then in the afternoon I was working at a video store, and then in the evening I'm going to the community college doing some classes, you know. And then after a while I was working at this hardware store. It's kind of like Lowe's. It's called what's the name of it? Rickles. It's called Rickles. I don't know if they have
I
them
don't think
anymore.
there's a Rickles in Laugh.
Yeah,
I don't think there's one.
it's probably an East Coast store, right?
Okay.
So we had Rickles, and I worked at Rickles, And then I work at a bus station, short line. There were the competition to Greyhound. So I work there too. So I'm developing all these skills as I go along. You see what I'm saying?
19 jobs, man. That's why you're making them
I'm,
19 jobs.
I'm telling you, man, it was amazing. It was amazing. So that's why I know that, I'm not gonna say I won't be homeless, but it's gonna be difficult because I'm gonna do all kinds of creative things to stay afloat.
And that's how I am as well. You got to be, like I said, you got to use every tool that you have. And I'm all about learning and developing new skills. So I'm always on the scour for that. So if you just do that one, is learn something different, new, and then use us to help increase your self
Yeah,
esteem. To know that you can do this
yeah.
and that you can acquire other skills and do what your heart and your passion dictates. Alfred, hello, Alfred. Alfred said, "Hey, good people, I'm with you again. How you doing? We're
Hey,
good, Alfred."
hey, Alfred. I appreciate the support, the love and support that you give us on the Business Zone every week. And I want to give a shout out to Pat Langford, man. Pat, she is phenomenal. She's been with us for forever now. She's been supporting us, and she's one of those people who know how to pivot. I met Pat at Pepperdine University when I was teaching some classes over there, and she was in one of my programs over there. She's just amazing. She's done a lot of work. She's done entertainment. It's called event planning. She used to do
Mm,
that. She do a
hmm.
lot of other things, and right now she's running her business. So Pat, more power to you, and keep being diversified, man. Keep up the good work. Honing on those skills and keep pivoting.
Yeah, we got Jasandra. She's a pivoter. Hey, Patricia, how are you? Alfred, I know you're a pivoter. Carrie Liu, you're all pivoters. So you guys pass on the message, pass on the video of the show. Make sure you invite other people to the show because we just love doing what we do,
I
Gilbert and
know, man.
I. Another
I
skill
know.
that we developed and we just love it.
We love helping small businesses and people in the community. That's what we do very well.
Exactly. Well, we're at 407. We want to let you guys know you've tuned into the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. We're here every Friday afternoon at 3 p.m. and we just have a great time. We usually have some amazing guests, but this is the end of the month and we're getting ready for voting. So we just wanted to make sure we go into this with the right mindset. Next week, we have an amazing guest that's going to talk about social media. And then I have someone that's talking about, she's going to come on and talk about change, but we're going to see what happens with the election because we may have to really go into overdrive with figuring out our untapped potential. So right now, we're just making sure everyone go out to vote.
we may have to go into overdrive to get the marshal to get that ex-boyfriend out of his life.
Right. Might have to be hog tied. They might need all of us to help go hog tag and drag him out the White House. So y'all be ready. Be ready. Right now we need intense prayer. Somebody put up, Gilbert, to pray for Trump. Somebody put it up on my Facebook and they're like, please pray for Trump. And so I put down, I pray that Trump loses the election and that Biden and Harris becomes the next president. That's what I'm praying for. I always say, be careful what you ask for when you're asking somebody to pray. They may not be praying for what you want.
So you're praying that he get evicted from the White House.
My prayer is that he gets evicted. Be careful who you ask to pray for you, dudes.
Oh, this is hilarious.
So everyone go over to our YouTube channel and become a subscriber. We appreciate it. We're trying to grow our channel and we want to monetize our channel, and we need you guys, if you're watching and you enjoy the comic humor from Gilbert and Crystal every Friday. Gilbert, I don't know what we're gonna laugh at next Friday.
Well, Well, I'm sure he's gonna act up by then, so we'll have something to talk about.
Oh, we probably have a whole month of laughter coming up, right? So y'all
Yeah,
just need to tune in.
he's that ex-boyfriend that won't go away, man.
You got to go out and get the cousins to help drag him
Yeah.
out the house. Don't make me go get my cousins. You better leave on your own. You don't want me to go get my cousins now. They not nice people. They're not happy people. Yeah. Yeah, he's an
Oh
ex-boyfriend
man.
that is probably going to be very difficult to leave,
Yeah, yeah.
and
So
we're going
they're probably gonna have to hog tie him, right? Take
to
him
drag him out by his shirt,
bring
pick him up like this.
bring the marshal and everybody, drag them out.
National Guard, the military, everybody.
So
So
guys, we have 3 days left to vote. Make sure you go out this weekend. Make sure you vote. You can't mail it in anymore because it's
it's too
not
late.
gonna get there. So make sure you go in and vote, okay?
Make sure you vote. Make sure everyone gets your vote in before November 3rd. We want to make sure everyone that listens to us that you have completed your voting and are safe on November 3rd, because I'm sure it's going to be kind of crazy. So just get it in this weekend. Go fill it out. Do your research. Make sure you've done your research though. Don't just
Yeah,
click off
do
buttons.
your research.
Everything and everybody on the ballot, you need to do your research because we got judges that are on that ballot. So we just went through the justice thing, and you understand the damage that can take place if you have the wrong judge in place. So
And usually, Crystal, you know me, I don't support propositions because I think they're a scam. It's just a scam to get our money to get us to vote for to tax ourselves.
uh-huh.
But Proposition 16, folks, I want you guys to really think about that hard because if you vote yes on Proposition 16, it gives us an opportunity to be able to have contract providers start looking at us in a more diversified way. So they'll provide opportunities, set aside contracts for minority firm and small businesses. So that's a thing that you want to take a look at. You want to support that Proposition 16 and make sure now that government agencies who claim that they cannot find qualified small businesses or minority businesses, now they know, okay, you got to set aside X amount, at least 25% for these small businesses. So
Well,
keep that
according
in
to
mind.
them, we're not. According to Jared Smith, Kushner, we don't even want to be successful.
Yeah, that guy is an idiot, man. He is a bona fide idiot. He's a certified idiot. That's what he
He's a certified, and we've been at the circus, so we need the circus to leave town.
Yeah,
Uh, all right, guys. So it's been great. We will see you guys next Friday. Make sure you tell everybody about the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert and
yeah,
how much fun you can have in this hour or so
yeah.
every Friday afternoon.
And if you guys start telling more people about it, then you will start getting some free consulting from Crystal and
Ooh, yeah.
I.
Helping you find that untapped potential.
That's
So,
right.
all right, guys, we will see you on next week. We're gonna
Next Friday, the 6th,
next
November
Friday
6th.
is November 6th. We hope you've all voted, and we have something. We're gonna have a big celebration next Friday.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
That's ours. We're gonna be celebrating big time. So come on by and hang out with us and celebrate with us. So we'll see you guys. Be safe this weekend. Go do your voting. Put your mask on. Keep yourself healthy, and we'll see you next week.
As a small biz pro, so we roll, using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, so we grow, using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.